So Jamy and I would like to continue in this process of taking you further into the masculine and feminine and how we view constellations and how we see things from the level of the soul. We talked about this a little bit yesterday in our presentation, and we've certainly, even the bag says healing the collective soul. And there's lots of talk about the soul. So how we view the soul and how we view constellations is from these three levels of consciousness. The individual soul, which is each of us in this room, which is again made up of the internal masculine and internal feminine, or the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Because we are, or emanations from our mother, father, gods. But then our family soul, the larger field of consciousness from which we were born into, is also made up of the masculine and feminine. I mean, again, Bert Hellinger taught us, just work with the facts. Jamy and I aren't making anything up here. We're just reiterating the facts that on one level are so simple and so matter of fact that we forget them. But if, as facilitators, we approach constellations or any of our clients from this perspective of the soul and masculine and feminine, it gives us a framework to work with, to hold within. So when we work with our clients and we work with our students in our immersion program, we start with the individual client, knowing that they're always going to be working with, as Jamy said earlier, a relationship, male-male, female-female, female-male, or male-female. The four archetypes. Every constellation comes down to those. And it's going to go into the family lineage or the family soul, and it's going to follow one of two bloodlines. If you're working with systemic, family, ancestral, transgenerational constellations, you're going to be going down one trail of the masculine father's bloodline, or you're going to be going down the other trail of the mother's bloodline. And within that, like Jamy had just pointed out, within the yin-yang symbol, you may go down the father's line because you're going down and trying to heal and reconnect with the father's lineage and work through all those things that happened in his lineage. But you may come across a grandmother or a great-grandmother or a missing aunt. So you may come across a feminine within the masculine, or if you go down the mother's lineage, the maternal line, you may hit a block, a nadi, in Hindu tradition, where you'll meet a feminine or a masculine person. Either way, the family soul is comprised of the masculine and feminine. That then leads to the larger, the collective soul. So the collective soul of humanity, all of us, every human being on earth, the collective soul of humanity, again, is just made up of men and women. It's just made up of masculine and feminine, which is a reflection of each of us. All we are is our DNA, our maternal, paternal lineage, the Ida and the Pingala, the yin and the yang. So we're always working with masculine and feminine. The collective soul contributing to healing, the collective soul of the masculine and feminine, starts with each one of us, like Jamy just led you through that exercise, of who are we working with? Who do you choose to work with? And when you do that, you contribute to the healing of the external masculine and feminine, the external divine masculine and feminine, which then does the healing internally. So wherever you're separated, wherever each one of us is separated from the masculine and feminine in our lineage, we have the opportunity to do a constellation around it, and it ultimately leads to healing the external, but then that heals us internally, and then brings us back to ourselves, to our inner divine masculine and feminine. In our immersion program, we do all these 10 constellations, and people do constellations over and over and over again. Some weekends when we teach, everybody does their father's lineage, everybody does their mother's lineage, everybody does their siblings' lineage, everybody does illness and disease. So what happens is you create this field of consciousness where everybody's working on the masculine lineage. So everybody's in it together. Talk, the collective. Everybody's in it doing the masculine, and you can go deeper and deeper into the field of consciousness. And that's how we do our program. And then people do that over and over again. So you go further and further into the collective field. So every constellation becomes starting on the individual, going to the family, but ultimately moving into the collective soul of the masculine feminine. And that's how we contribute to the healing of the masculine feminine. That's how each of you do that.